Kim Potter's trial enters its second week. Potter is the former Brooklyn Center, Minnesota police officer who shot and killed Daunte Wright during a traffic stop in April. Our justice correspondent, Candace Kelley, joins us now. Candace, on the stand last week, Officer Michael Johnson, that was Kim Potter's supervisor at the time of the shooting, said that Potter had the right to use deadly force. Why?
Well, listen, he said that at that point, he felt that his life was in danger. And I think that this was something that caught the prosecution kind of off base because the prosecution brought this particular witness to testify on behalf of the prosecution. So to say that Kim Potter had the right to use deadly force, I'm not sure if it was a surprise to the prosecution, but it certainly didn't work in their favor that here was someone on the stand, their star witness, probably one of them, because he was at the scene at the time on the side, the passenger side. And he said that the deadly force was acceptable, that he himself felt like his life was in danger, felt like his life was in danger because he could have been dragged if the car did pull off. Now, Michael Johnson was the person who was on the passenger side. At one point, his hands were on the arms of Daunte Wright, but when he heard the shooting, he moved away from the car, and that's really going to be an issue here. Was he in the car? Was he outside of the car? And Najahe, if we look at the video, it's kind of clear that he's outside of the car when these shots actually happen. And that's going to be a point of contention in terms of the prosecution and the defense to determine exactly just where he was, Najahe.
And speaking to that, can you elaborate? Why is that point so important?
You know, it's so important because when it comes to deadly force, if this officer felt that his life was in danger, well, then that would justify the deadly force. But if he was outside of the car, if he was away from the car and could not have potentially been dragged or potentially been hurt, as the defense attorneys pulled out of him in terms of that's what he said on the stand, well, then that's a totally different story. And that's where the two narratives kind of go on different paths. Was he potentially going to be hurt or not? And that's very, very key to each side and their narrative that they're creating for these jurors. Another thing that's going to be very, very important is the taser, the use of the taser. The taser is not supposed to be used according to the guidelines of the police department of Kim Potter if it's going to create some type of collateral damage. And Najahe, we saw this collateral damage that was created when the car took off and then hit another car, killing Daunte Johnson and then also injuring his girlfriend. So at this point, again, we have information that could work on both sides. But I would say that for Friday, in terms of what was expected from Michael Johnson, what was given, this was definitely a day for the defense.
Now, on the stand, we also heard that Johnson say that after Potter shot Wright, that he was really concerned that she might hurt herself. Why is this relevant?
You know, this is very relevant because it goes to whether or not she was trained enough and had the capacity enough to really do her job. One, did she use the taser in a wrong or right way? And was it really a mistake? That's the one thing. But two, in the aftermath of everything that happened, we saw Najahe, her breaking down, falling down to the ground. And the police officer who was on the stand, Michael Johnson, said that he took away the gun that was used in the shooting because he knew that that would have to be used for evidence. He then gave her another gun in order just to serve as protection because police officers should never be without protection, he said. But on second thought, he went back. He got the gun from Kim Potter because he thought that based upon the way that she was acting, she might actually take her life or hurt herself. And I think that this is very important to go to what kind of police officer was she? She potentially used this taser incorrectly? Was it a mistake or not? And two, did she even have the capacity to be a police officer? Did she betray her oath, as the prosecutor said, based upon her response to it? She knew automatically that she was going to jail. She broke down. And actually, the officers at that time gave her a lot of attention that probably should have been given on Daunte Wright in the car that went away. So all of that will come into play in terms of how she actually responded to the shooting and whether or not she was in such distress, Najahe, that she could potentially have taken her life.